Hi everyone, this is Val from EurekaCrystalBeads.com with another sparkling beading video. But before I get started, here's a quick reminder to check out our channel, and if you like what you see, hit the subscribe button and notification bell to be notified every time we have a new listing. Today's project is a little bit more of a different look. It's kind of more masculine. I would say it's just kind of a cool, little bit more edgy look. I get a lot of questions from a lot of my customers, and they asked me, what can I make for a guy? What's different other than just a string of beads? So I thought this would be kind of a fun project for to show you today. So the products you'll be using today are some Swarovski 8mm round crystal beads, some metal beads with a large hole. We'll be using some fireline, leather cord, a terra cast button with a large shank. I'm using a Tree of Life button because I thought it was cute, kind of cute, a little bit more masculine, maybe not so flowery. You'll be needing a flat nose plier and a wire cutter, and you'll also be needing some Scotch tape or some painter's tape. To start my project, I'm going to string my leather onto my button, and then you'll take about 1 yard of fireline and insert that into the button shank as well, and then you'll center your fireline, the button onto your fireline. Now I want to tie a knot right here, just below the button shank. So I'm going to hold all my lines together about 2 inches down from the button shank, wrap that around my fingers, around 2 of my fingers, and then insert the button into the rabbit hole and out. And now I want to pull my button up, and at the same time with my opposite hand, I want to push my knot up and pull my leather down. So right here, you'll see that the fire line is a little bit, still a little bit loose. So you just take your fingers and just pull your fire line tight. Now we're going to tape down your button onto your work surface, and you can use just an ordinarily tape or a painter's tape, whatever doesn't ruin your work surface, and just press down. And you want to put probably about at least 1 inch of tape on each end of your button shank. Now just pull your leather strips apart, and then you want to tape down your center line right here, which is your fire line. So we're going to do a basic macrame with our leather. So we're going to use this as our center line, our fire line is our center line, and our leather we're going to start our macrame. So on our left here, we're going to start with a C. So you just make your leather look like a C. Your opposite side leather will just go over and under the X. So one line is one side of the X, the leather is the opposite side of the X. You're going to go under and out through the middle of the C. And just pull that up close to this knot. Now your other side, we're going to do a backward C. Our leather's on our opposite side is going to go over, and it's going to go under your X and out through the center of your backward C. So this is one set of macrame knot right here. So you see here, so this is my left. I'm going to do a C on this side. So a C, and my opposite side will go from above and go under the X and out through the middle of your C. And do one more. So opposite side will have a backward C. The leather will come from over and go under the X and out through the middle of your backward C. And pull that tight. So I'm going to continue this so I have about 10 of these macrame sets, and I'll be back. So I added more of my knotting here, and now I'm going to continue by adding onto my main line 3 round 8mm crystals. So just take your 2 lines and make them side by side and string on our 3 beads. You can use here either a 6mm round or even bicones will work. I think it just depends on the overall look that you like. I now want to tape down my line back again, just to give me a nice tight tension. I'm going to move these 2 extra beads down, push this up to the top. Now on each side of my leather, I'm going to string up 4 of my spacer beads. And these metal beads kind of give it a nice, kind of like a hardware look. I'm just going to move these beads off to the side because I tend to knock beads over. Now bring all your beads up to the top. And we're going to start our macrame again just below our bead. So our left again will form that C. The right line will go under this X and out through the C. So just the same macrame sets we've been doing, and pull this nice and tight. Now our opposite side, we're going to form a backward C, and our leather will go from under and out and under the X and out through the middle of your backward C, and pull that into a nice tight knot. So now it looks like this. Do one more set of knots. So C, and the opposite side will go under the X and out through the center of the C. And then one more to complete the set. So opposite side will have a backward C, and the other side will go from under the X and out. Okay, so here is one complete set. So I'm going to go ahead and repeat what I just did as far as pushing my bead up, and then 4 of our hardware beads on each side, and continue our macrame knots from there, and I will catch up with you. So I finished my extra of my medallions here. So this is where I left off with you. I did my medallion and my 2 knots, and then I added my second medallion, 2 more sets of knots, and my third medallion and 2 more sets of knots. So on this end, I just want to continue to do the balance of the knots that I did on the opposite end. So I'm just going to continue on this, and I will be back. So I finished my macrame on the opposite side. And so now what I want to do is kind of finish it off. So I'm going to just take my leather and just move it off to the end, off to the sides. And I need to finish off my fireline. So I'm going to take one end of my fireline and bring it back up from the bottom into that space and out through the top. So I have one end coming out from top and the bottom of my project. And then I just want to tie my fireline into a knot. I'm just going to do a double knot just to ensure that it's on there pretty nicely. And then you could cut off your excess or burn it off, whichever you want to do. Probably not the best scissors for this. And you can also put a little spot of glue there just to make sure it holds nicely. And with your excess, you can just tie this into a knot one time. And then bring your ends together and tie this into a knot. And for some reason, one end got a little shorter, so I'm just going to have to use the help of my pliers to help me to knot it. So I'm going to bring around my finger. I'll take the long end first because, of course, that's the easier side to get through that knot. And the other end, I'm going to use my plier to help me bring it through that knot, just to make it a little easier. I just need enough space so that my button can now go into that loop. And then from here, I can take my flat nose plier and pull the ends of my leather out. So now the ends, I can just take my scissors and just give that a little trim, just at a little bit of an angle. Gives it a nicer finished look. So here's my knot and my opposite knot. So then my button will now just go into my knot and it will sit nicely on the wrist. And there you go. Here's my project. And like always, all these supplies and more are available on our website at eurekacrystalbeads.com, and the supplies we used on this project will be listed in the comments below. Thanks for joining us.